So muscles of the gluteal region, they involve or they are divided into two layers for descriptive purposes, a superficial layer and a deep layer. So the superficial layer of the gluteal region includes muscles as gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, gluteus minimus, and then tensor fascia lata. Some general points related with the muscles of the gluteal region, especially with the associated with the superficial layer, is that these muscles are proximally attached to the external surface of the ileum, which means that all of these four muscles located in the superficial layer, they arise or are proximally attached over the external surface of the ileum. Ileum is a part of hip bone. And depending on their actions, they are categorized mainly as extensors, abductors, and medial rotators of the thigh. So I hope these general points related with the superficial layer of the gluteal region muscles is clear. Now some points related with the muscles present in the deep layer. First of all, the muscles that form the deep layer in the gluteal region include piriformis, obturator internus, superior and inferior gemelli, and last, quadratus femoris. You will be able to see the muscles that belong to deep layer of the gluteal region by first dissecting the superficial layer muscles, especially maximus, then medius, and finally minimus. After dissecting and reflecting laterally their flaps, you will be able to see underlying deep muscles. First of all, piriformis, which is an important landmark in the region of gluteal region. Next to it is the obturator internus, and above and inferior to obturator internus are located superior and inferior gemelli, respectively. And in the lowest part of the deep layer, quadratus femoris is located. Now, some general points related with the deep layer. It is covered by the inferior half of gluteus maximus. Since gluteus maximus, as we shall see shortly, that gluteus maximus is the most bulkiest muscle present in the gluteal region. So it covers most of the muscles or structures underlying to it. Muscles in the deep layer of the gluteal region are distally attached on the intertrochanteric crest of the femur. You know that intertrochanteric crest of the femur is located posteriorly, whereas intertrochanteric line is located anteriorly. So obviously, since gluteal region is located posterolateral to the pelvis, so obviously these muscles are going to get attached on the posterior aspect of the femur, that is intertrochanteric crest. And lastly, again, depending on the actions, they are mainly categorized as lateral rotators of the thigh. I hope these points are clear to you. Now let's see a diagram related and showing the different shapes and location of the gluteal muscles. Gluteal muscles. So look in the diagram on the left side. You can see the bulkiest, the largest in size and bulkier muscle in the gluteal region and superficial as well, which is called gluteus maximus. And just under and further extending away from it is the gluteus medius muscle. And when you will dissect and raise the flap of the gluteus maximus, here we have raised the flap of the gluteus maximus muscle. And here underneath is the gluteus medius that we have also cut down to reflect the deeper lying muscle, which is called gluteus minimus. And further down from the gluteus minimus down towards the upper end of the femur, we have piriformis. Then we have obturator internus. Above to it is superior gemellus, and below to it is the inferior gemellus. And in the lowest most part of the gluteal region, we have quadratus femoris. So I hope the location and position and different shapes of the muscles will be clear to you. Here we have another diagram showing pretty much the gluteal muscles, their shape, their attachment, and their location. Here again, we have the bulkier and larger in size muscle, which is called gluteus maximus. Under to it and further extending away from it, we have gluteus medius. If you further cut down maximus, we will reveal the gluteus maximus in its entire extent, and after cutting it down, we will be able to see the gluteus minimus. And rest of the lower lying and deeper lying muscles like piriformis, obturator internus, above and inferior to it, superior gemellus and inferior gemellus respectively. And in the last, over here, lowest most part of the gluteal region, we have which muscle? Quadratus femoris. Please do not confuse quadratus femoris with the quadriceps femoris. Students unintentionally get the two terms confused with each other. Now let's see the attachments, nerve supply, actions, and various clinicals associated with the muscles of the superficial layer in the gluteal region. So what are the muscles that are present in the superficial layer of the gluteal region? We have gluteus maximus. Further under it, we have gluteus medius. Further deeper to it, we have gluteus medius. And almost over the lateral side, posterolaterally, we have tensor fascia lata. So let's see the attachments of the gluteus maximus. It arises from the posterior aspect of the or outer surface of the ilium, posterior superior iliac crest, and as well as it takes origin from the postero-inferior aspect of the sacrum. Here we have the sacral piece and coccyx. So after taking origin, it obliquely runs down to get attached by some aponeurotic fibers into the iliotibial tract, and finally some of its fibers, they get inserted into the gluteal tuberosity located over the posterior aspect of the femur. So it has two distal attachments, few fibers, aponeurotic, getting inserted into the iliotibial tract, and some fibers getting attached over the gluteal tuberosity over the upper posterior aspect of the shaft of the femur. What is the innervation of the gluteus maximus? Inferior gluteal nerve. I hope you must be familiar with the name of the inferior gluteal nerve. It is a branch of sacral plexus having root value L5, S1, S2. Action of the gluteus maximus. Action of the gluteus maximus is that it is the majorly extensor of the hip joint. That is, if you are in the sitting position, this muscle is going to help you raise to stand erect from the sitting position. Next muscle, we have gluteus medius. Again, a very, very important muscle when it comes to clinicals and its actions specifically. So let's see its origin or proximal attachment. The external surface of the ilium, it arises from the outer or external surface of the ilium between anterior and posterior gluteal lines. It inserts into the greater trochanter of the femur. Fine, here it is shown to be getting inserted over the greater trochanter of the femur. So it is supplied by superior gluteal nerve. Please do not confuse the nerve supply of gluteus maximus and medius. Gluteus maximus, even though it is a superficial muscle, but it is receiving the nerve supply from inferior gluteal nerve, not superior. Whereas gluteus maximus is present under to gluteus maximus, but it is receiving the nerve supply from superior gluteal nerve. This point must be clear to all of you in order to understand the clinicals, which are again very important, not only from clinical point of view, but also from examination point of view, because this muscle and its clinical are commonly given within the exams. MCQs, SAQs, and Viva questions, equally important. So let's see the action. What is the nerve supply of gluteus medius? Superior gluteal nerve, branch of sacral plexus. Action. It is an abductor of the thigh at hip joint and mainly a medial rotator of the femur, though some fibers may also be involved in lateral rotation, right? Secondly, it depresses the pelvis. Now, please remember this action. Remember this action. Depression of the pelvis, because pelvis on the whole, gluteus medius present on the right side, present on the left side. Both the gluteus medius on both sides of the body contribute to make the pelvis as a whole stable. If one side of the gluteus medius, for example, let me clear this point to you right here. If gluteus medius, of right side is damaged or is paralyzed, and if it is paralyzed on the right side, what is going to happen to pelvis? Pelvis on the left side is going to go down. It is going to slope downward. If gluteus medius on the left side is damaged because of the damage to superior gluteal nerve, this is going to lead to the depression of the pelvis or sinking down of the pelvis on the right side. So I hope this point is clear to everybody. Moving on to gluteus minimus. Origin. Gluteus minimus arises from the external surface of the ilium between the anterior and inferior gluteal lines. Insertion, we have greater trochanter of the femur where it gets inserted along with medius, and its nerve supply is also similar to that of gluteus medius, which is the superior gluteal nerve branch of sacral plexus. Actions, just like medius, it is an abductor of the thigh at hip joint and medial rotator of the thigh at hip joint, and along with medius it is going to help to stabilize the pelvis on both sides. Tensor fascia lata. Tensor, please pay attention to the name as well. Fascia lata. So let's see its proximal attachment. It arises from the anterior superior iliac spine. Here you can see that it is arising from the anterior superior iliac spine. Here we have anterior superior iliac spine of the hip bone. From anterior to the attachment of tensor fascia lata, sartorius is taking origin, and behind the origin of the sartorius we have the origin or proximal attachment for the tensor fascia lata. Tensor fascia lata, the name is self-explanatory. It is going to get inserted into the iliotibial tract, which is the thickening and the modification of the fascia lata, which is the deep fascia of the thigh, right? It also receives its nerve supply from the superior gluteal nerve having root value L5, L4, 5, and S1. It is an abductor, basically an abductor of the thigh, and since it is through iliotibial tract getting inserted into the or near the knee joint, it is going to help stabilize the hip as well as knee joints with the help of iliotibial tract. I hope this is clear to everybody. These are some clinicals associated with the with the muscles of the gluteal region. So the very famous clinical that is often asked in the MCQs and SCQs and by professors in the Viva is the intragluteal injection. First look in the diagram on the right side. You remember that we had divided the gluteal region into 4 quadrants, right? 2 lateral or anterior and 2 medial or posterior quadrants, upper and lower, on both sides. So look at the site of the intramuscular injection. So the site for the intramuscular injection is upper outer, upper lateral or upper anterior quadrant. Fine. Why? Because we have to save the sciatic nerve. Sciatic nerve usually arises from the middle of this 4 quadrant division, from the center of this division, and runs down, preferably or most of it lying within this inner medial gluteal quadrant. So look in this diagram on the left side, there is a comparison of the 2 types of the intramuscular injection. The 2 very famous sites for the intramuscular injections are the gluteal region and the deltoid region. So just compare these 2 diagrams above, right? Here we have the upper outer quadrant in the gluteal region, and whereas here we have the lower half of the deltoid muscle. In the gluteal region, we need to keep which nerve safe? Sciatic nerve. And here in the deltoid region, which nerve is going to be saved? We have to save the axillary nerve. So I hope this point is clear to everybody. Injury to superior gluteal nerve. Superior gluteal nerve supplies gluteus medius and minimus. Both of these muscles contribute to the stability of the pelvis on either side of the body, right and left. So if one side of the body, gluteus medius on one side of the body gets paralyzed due to the injury of the gluteal, superior gluteal nerve, it is going to make the opposite side of the pelvis to sink down. So here in this diagram on the right, you can also see that patient while walking is having his or her left side of the pelvis sinking down because of the paralysis due to the injury to superior gluteal nerve, paralysis of gluteus medius as well as minimus on the right side. Similar is the case with the left side. If the gluteus medius or minimus on the left side, they become paralyzed, the pelvis on the right side will sink down during walking. So this clinical is important, and the test that is conducted to examine the patient of that come or that arrive in the hospitals with injury to their superior gluteal nerve and with paralysis, showing paralysis of the gluteus medius and minimus. The test that we conduct over these patients has a very famous name. It is called Trendelenburg sign. Trendelenburg sign. So please keep this sign and keep this test clear to you. It is a very important question given in SAQs, asked in MCQs, and it is practically asked to be done in the Viva by the professors. So that is a very famous question related with the injury to superior gluteal nerve. That is Trendelenburg sign or test. Now, there are some bursae related with the gluteus muscles, especially with the attachments or the course of the gluteus maximus. We have ischial bursa that is located between the gluteus maximus and ischial tuberosity. We have gluteofemoral bursa located between the iliotibial tract and vastus lateralis. And then we have trochanteric bursa located between the greater trochanter of the femur and gluteus maximus. Clinicals associated with these bursa are usually involve inflammation of these bursa, and they are usually the type of repetitive friction injuries to the bursa. So trochanteric bursa is the bursa that was located where? It was located between the greater trochanter and gluteus maximus. So inflammation of the trochanteric bursa is labeled as trochanteric bursitis, and it may occur because of repetitive movements like climbing the stairs while carrying heavy objects and running on a treadmill. These movements, they involve the superior tendinous fibers, the movement of the superior tendinous fibers of the gluteus maximus muscle. The sign symptoms that the patient experience are that they feel pain which is localized or which can be localized just posterior to greater trochanter. Also, the pain radiates along the iliotibial tract and pain on the abduction and lateral rotation of the thigh. Next, we have ischial bursitis. Ischial bursitis. Where was ischial bursa located? Between the gluteus maximus and ischial tuberosity. Repeated hip extension while seated, for example, cycling and rowing, lead to the bursitis. Pain increases when gluteus maximus is made to move, and these commonly develop in patients who are bedridden for one reason or the other, like paralyzed patients, patients of stroke, paralysis, paraplegic, जिनको फॉलिज का अटैक होता है तो वो बेड रिडन हो जाते हैं. तो अगर उनका ख्याल ना रखा जाए तो due to lack of good care they develop pressure sores, especially at this site. So this was all about today's lecture.